Spiritual philosophy is full of imagery of slaying, exorcising, and ignoring the demonic lower forces of Maya and illusion. But will they actually ever truly be slain or exorcised unless they are really seen and met with compassion? How do you view the relationship dance between exorcism and then, in quotes, demon slaying and compassion or Christ like love? So, I think this is a super important topic. In our collective consciousness with film and media, there's even more perhaps attention on um, some of the darker sides of illusion. Sometimes even disproportionately to the downtrends in some of the violence in our world as a whole, although there's plenty of it still. But there can even be downtrends, but with all the 24 news cycle, it can seem like it's uptrending. But there can be in our human psyche and directly in our human experience. Um, and my heart goes out to those who are really in the thick of it. There can be tremendous darkness and tremendous forces of division. And so I can only speak to these forces in my own direct experience, which frankly is not in some of these horrific war-torn states and violent circumstances in the households across the world and in our communities. But in terms of inner spiritual practice and what might come up that is feels more dark, um, more truly destabilizing and disturbing, I would say that what I have come to see in my own practice. So each person has to discover their own journey, and I encourage you to check not so much get into checking out dark forces, not helpful. Um, if they happen to be arising, I think what I'm saying could be helpful for you to check out. And what I want to say is that I'm interested in liberation and what works. And so there are different ways that not only liberation of our essential identity can occur, liberation of consciousness at the very core and essence of what we are that can occur, but also liberation of certain karmic patterns, certain stored experiences, certain, how do we say this? Aspects of our unconsciousness that bloom as certain narratives and certain um, ways that consciousness is constellated around certain narratives or direct experiences. And these can come up in meditation. A lot of beautiful beauty and peace can come up in meditation. And when we're really aligned and our intention is very sincere, that in large part is the dominant tenor of meditation, that peace, that spaciousness, that stillness, that quietness, that brightness. When we're around those that resonate, that comes forward. But there also could be moments where something, more what do I say, distorted, comes forward, more gross, more heavy, more divisive. And sometimes these are felt senses of things that are more dark. They can also feel more vacuous, um, more devoid of brightness. And so, in terms of liberation, what I'm interested in is what is liberating. So, certain things are liberated through being enfolded in love, being accepted, being encountered with compassion. And that is what helps them evolve and move on and release, whether it could be emotions or memories or things like that, energetics. But there are some energetics that actually seem to uh, grow in our experience with the light of attention. Some in some like modern day vernacular, kind of new age speak, they might see it say you might say that they feed off of that light. So what I found helpful when these darker energies come forward is and liberating is to withdraw attention from them, to cease to shine the light of attention on them, to simply turn my attention and walk on in another direction. Because it seems to be that these energies grow in magnitude if we become fascinated with them or we resist them. But if we don't give them anything to play off of and we simply turn our attention away, they are liberated from that paradigm where that darker energy knows itself through that interaction of fascination and resistance. When we withdraw fascination and resistance, when we withdraw attention, that identity of darkness has nothing to play off of. And it, in effect, is kind of like the meditator who dunks their consciousness in stillness, or that U turn that gives way to cessation, is in the same way that's liberating. The dark energy that has nothing to play off of is becomes, in a sense, liberated through the stillness, the cessation of interplay of our attention and energy that we might give it. And so I feel that that's a way of liberating these darker energies that I found to be effective. I remember hearing this recording of Paramahansa Yogananda once, and there was a darker demonic energy that he encountered. I can't remember. I think it was in the room or something, and he very forcefully said, "Out with you." And he was engaging the energy, but just making it very clear, and he was very unmoving in his directive. So unmoving that there was nothing, so clear in his being that there was absolutely no room for any other outcome. And I've thought about that because in moments where I felt some darkness come, I've been in situations like places, maybe in the woods or even at a retreat center where I felt something in the room and I wanted to clear the room of it for the group. And so I've kind of danced with some of these um, approaches, to be very clear and to direct something out, or to simply state, "You are not welcome." And to be just so clear in the statement that there's no room for movement. And then there's also many times where I've just turned my attention away and just not fed it at all. So I'm hoping that you don't get interested in these darker waters. It's it's not what I would want for you. Um, but if you find yourself in these situations, it's it might be something. Some of my sharings might come to be brought to bear and be helpful.